and that's how they got the Komodo dragon out of the orphanage. Back to you, Tim.
Well, Jim, it makes you really wonder, what exactly would have happened had Tommy not been there in that exact moment with his water gun when the Komodo dragon entered the orphanage? When we come back, we will have an interview with one of the leading figures of the empowerment movement. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome back. Joining us from Australia, the famous author Greer. Good evening, Miss Greer.
Well, hello.
So, Miss Greer, I first want to start off by asking you how your background as a teacher, faculty member, and professor at the collegiate level has really impacted your views.
Well, being a professor at the University of Sydney, I get to interact with young girls on a daily basis, and seeing the mistreatment they're experiencing every day really inspired a lot of the topics I write about.
Well, speaking of some of the topics you've written about, I wanted to jump right into it and discuss one of your more recent books, The Whole Woman, specifically one of the last chapters, Masculinity. Do you have any comments on the last chapter?
Well, I opened the last chapter with the sentence, "Masculinity is to maleness as femininity is to feminism." And I like to go against this idea a lot in my last chapter. I talk a lot about how masculinity is more nurture than nature, and that masculinity is a social construct that is placed on kids that our society goes by today.
So how exactly are boys raised to be more masculine than girls?
Well, in most homes, as I found from my research, the boys just from a very young age are treated differently. They're raised in every aspect of their life to be more masculine than a young girl would be.
So you believe that this social construct plays more of an influence on the behavior of a child more so than their genetics?
Oh, of course. I really think that masculinity is not nature. It's not the natural behavior for guys. I think it's 100% a nurture thing from what they're taught by their parents and what society is teaching the kids.
You have a very powerful writing style. How does this writing style enhance your arguments?
Well, I use a lot of research and data in my writing to solidify my arguments and to back them up. I also write as non-biased as possible, and I like to let my readers formulate their own opinions on the topics, and it seems to be very popular.
You also infuse a variety of quotes. What purpose do these quotes provide?
Well, these quotes are from real males and real females, and by incorporating these quotes, it really helps also solidify my arguments by showing real proof on how boys and girls are raised and treated differently.
Well, that's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you. It's been a pleasure, and we hope to have you again.
Well, thank you so much.
Well, Jim, that was quite an interesting interview. One thing she hit on briefly was how males and females behave differently, mainly because of how they're raised. However, I would like to see a study that comes out discussing how males and females act from single-family homes. You know, maybe the difference in how males and females act when they're raised by just a father figure versus just a mother figure. What are your thoughts on the subject, Jim?
Well, Tim, I thought she went a little bit out on a limb there when she was talking about the roles of males in society, but she had a very convincing argument. I also very much agree with her viewpoints on how men act in certain social situations.
I thought it was a very interesting article, Jim. She made some very good points, but I would have to disagree about the whole nature v nurture thing. I just think that boys act the way they are because they're boys. And I think a lot of the topics that she discussed and a lot of the facts that she presented were more of observations and they're harder to prove. What do you think about it, Jim?
Well, Tim, I actually thought it was a very insightful article. I can't wait to see what she comes out with in the future.